Friends, hello and welcome on techguruspeaks.com. Today I would like to discuss about Java nested classes, which is one of the important topics of core Java programming, though it's a little bit complicated. But if you just go through the concept, you will be able to understand. Java programming allows us to define a class within another class. Such a class is called a nested class, which is shown below. The class which is written at the top level with the color blue is called the outer class, and within its scope we have defined another class called a nested class, and which is marked with color green. So that is the second level class which is nested under the top level class. So that is the basic structure of nested class. Nested classes are divided into two main categories: static and non-static. Nested classes that are declared as static are called static nested classes. Non-static nested classes are called inner classes. A nested class is basically a member of its enclosing class. Say for example, in this example, the nested class is considered to be a member of its enclosing class, which happens to be the outer class. Inner classes have access to the members of the enclosing class even if they are declared private. Static nested classes don't have access to non-static members of the enclosing class. It can access the static members only. I mean to say, for static nested classes. As a member of the outer class, a nested class can be declared private, public, protected, or default. But the other examples, like involving the outer classes, can only be declared public or default. So that is the main thing to consider. The outer classes can only be declared as public or default. So that is the feature of Java nested classes and its main distinction. Additionally, there are two special kinds of inner classes called local inner classes and anonymous inner classes. Now, the question that may be asked by the audience: what is the need for nested classes? Basically, there are several reasons for which the nested classes are being used in Java programming. The first point is logical grouping of classes. Basically, it's a way of logically grouping classes that are only used in one place. That means if a class is useful to another class, then it is logical to embed in that particular class and keep the two classes together. Nesting such classes, making their packages more streamlined. The next point states that this concept increases encapsulation. If we consider two top level classes A and B, where B needs to access the members of A that would otherwise be declared private, now by hiding class B within class A, A's members can be declared private and B can access them. So that means A is the outer level class and B is the inner level class. B can access the private members of class A, that is the outer class, and you can also hide class B inside class A. So that is the speciality of using this particular concept, like it increases encapsulation. So the class B itself can be hidden from the outside world. And the third point talks about using nested classes, we can create more readable and maintainable code. Say for example, nesting small classes within top level classes places the code closer to where it is being used. So these are the need for nested classes which are described just now. Now I would like to give you the idea of different types of nested classes. Like I have already talked about two main categories of nested classes, like inner class, that is a non-static nested class, and static nested class. Now there are two variations of the inner class. One is called the local inner class and the second one is called the anonymous inner class. Now I will be describing each one of them one by one by using program demonstration, and that is done by using the NetBeans IDE, one of the popular IDEs for Java programming. So now I will be moving to the NetBeans IDE for program demonstration. So here I have written 4 programs for each of the categories of nested classes. First I will be discussing inner class, then I will be discussing static nested class. Remember that inner class is also called the non-static nested class. The third one is basically related to local inner class, and the last one is related to anonymous inner class. First I will be discussing about the inner class, which is basically the non-static nested class. Inner class or non-static nested class is basically associated with an instance of its enclosing class. Say for example, here outer is the say top level class or the outer class, within which we have defined another class called the inner class, which is basically a non-static nested class, and it can access the members of its enclosing class, that is the class outer. That means they can access all the fields and methods of the outer class, I mean to say the inner class, even if they are private. Say for example, here I have created two private members. One is a private field that is named outer underscore x. It is having the value 100. It is an integer type variable, and followed by a private method that is named msg. It is basically showing some message like say hello. So these two are basically private members of the outer level, like outer level class, that is the top level class. Now from the context of the inner class, that is the non-static nested class, we can access both of them. So that is the speciality of nested classes. It is quite similar to that of instance methods and instance fields of a class. Like it can also be considered as a member inner class, since it is placed at the same level as that of the field and the method of a particular class. It is termed as a member inner class. Also, because an inner class is associated with an instance, it cannot define any static member itself. Objects that are instances of an inner class exist within an instance of the outer class. So that is the most important thing to consider, that you will see a little bit later. An instance of inner class can exist only within an instance of outer class. That means without the existence of the outer class, there is no existence of the inner class, and has direct access to the methods and fields of its enclosing instance. That means the inner class instance can access the members of its outer class even if they are private. But the reverse is not true. That means the outer class cannot access the members of the inner class. So now we will be writing the, or better to say demonstrating the use of non-static nested class or inner classes with respect to that particular example. Say here we have got two members, like one private field named outer underscore x and the msg, that is the private method. Now I have got the inner class, that is the non-static nested class, and within the context of this particular class I can have a method named show, void show. Within this context of this method, that is part of the inner class, I can access the private field of the outer class, as well as I can call the private method. Now the instance, like I mean to say, now by using the instance of the inner class that has been created with respect to a particular method in the outer class named void test, I have created an instance of the inner class. So it is pointed to by the reference in. So by using in dot show, I can call its method. So in that way I can say access this particular method, which is basically a part of the inner class. But the thing is that if I am going to access the inner class member like the field inner underscore y directly, I won't be able to access it. It can only be accessed by using the corresponding instance or object. So if I am trying to write a statement like this, like inner underscore y from a particular SOP statement inside the test method, it will be giving you compilation error. But using the object of the inner class, I can access it. So that means the inner class can access the members of the outer class directly without creating any object, because they are at the same level. Like I mean to say, the inner class, the field outer underscore x, or the method that is msg, so all these are at the same level. So that is why this particular members can be accessed directly within the context of the inner class. So that I have done here within the context of the show method, which is a member of the inner class. But I cannot access the members of the inner class directly from the outer class context. So that is why it will give you compilation error. But using an instance or object, I can access it. Now say for example, I would like to access this particular field from the outside world, say for example from main. So how can it be accessed? So that is the most interesting thing to consider. So first, say for example, I would like to access this method. It's quite simple. I will be creating an object of the outer class. So out is the reference variable, that is the object reference of the outer class, and by using this object reference I can have access to this particular method test. So if I am just running this program, it will be showing you the output accordingly. Like for example, it is giving you the idea like the answer is outer underscore x 100, that is basically coming from the test method, because by using the test method we are basically calling the show method. And then comes the contents of the msg method, that is a part of the outer class. So that will be printed on the console, that is output console, by calling the test method. Now suppose for example I would like to access this particular variable from the outside world, that means from the main method. So how can you be able to access it? Remember that to instantiate an inner class, we must first instantiate the outer class. Then we have to create the inner object within the outer object with this particular syntax. Say for example, I have already told it before, the inner class cannot exist alone. Without the existence of the outer class, it is nothing. So that is why it will be increasing the level of encapsulation. So outer dot inner, so that is the position in terms of the class levels. Like outer is the top level class and inner is the second level class. So in that way the inner can be accessed. Then comes the object reference equal to new outer, because I have already told it, it is considered to be a member inner class. So like it is just like an instance member of the outer class. So I need to create an object of the outer class in order to access it. Now I will be actually accessing what? Am I accessing the class or the object of the class? Basically, I am accessing here the object of the inner class by using the object of the outer class. So that is why it is called member inner class, and it is basically, I mean to say, the object of the inner class is basically a member of the object of the outer class. So that is why I will be writing here new outer, that is the object of the outer class, dot new inner. So in that way I can create the object of the inner class, and it will be pointed by the object reference obj. Now by using this particular reference I can have access to this particular variable, which is basically a member of the inner class. So that is the thing I have done here. So in that way I can access the member of the inner class, which is basically an instance member. So by using the object of the inner class I can have access to it. So remember that this particular class basically a member of the outer class, and it is basically defined at the same level as that of the other members like field and method. So the object of this class is a member of the object of its outer class. So that is why I need to create the object of the outer class, and it is basically, I mean to say, the object of the inner class is basically a member of the object of the outer class. So remember this, and also try to remember that the inner class cannot exist alone. It is basically a member of the outer class. So without the existence of outer class we cannot write it. So that is why you have to write here outer dot inner. You cannot write here inner alone because it is not allowed. It cannot exist alone. So you have to write here outer dot inner followed by obj equal to new outer, that is the object of the outer class, dot new inner. Like it is an instance member, and it is basically related with respect to their respective objects. I mean to say the inner class object is basically an object of the outer class object. So that is the concept behind this particular program, which is the concept of non-static nested class or the member inner class. So I hope that you have understood the concept of this program. Now I will be moving to the next topic, that is the static nested class. So that is a second example. So static variables and static methods are also called class fields and class methods. So try to remember this thing, though I have told it several times during the other tutorials. So as with class methods and fields, a static nested class is associated with its outer class. So in that particular example, out is the outer class and in is basically the static nested class. And like static class methods, a static nested class cannot refer directly to instance fields or methods defined in its enclosing class. Say for example, in that particular programming example, we are having two fields like a static field and a non-static field. Remember this. So we can directly access the static field, there is no problem because it is a static nested class. But you won't be able to access the non-static field, that is an instance fields of its outer class, directly. You need to create an object of the outer class in order to access it. That is the thing I am telling here. So try to remember the point, like a static nested class cannot refer directly to instance variables, that means instance fields or instance methods defined in its enclosing class. It can use them only through an object reference that I have told. So that is why it can access directly this particular variable that I have written here, but it cannot access this particular variable directly. So I mean to say the static nested class needs an object reference of its outer class to access the non-static member of the outer class. So that is why I need to create an object of the outer class, and by using this object I will be having access to the non-static field of the outer class. So that is the concept. Try to remember this. A static nested class interacts with the instance members of its outer class and other classes just like any other top level class. In effect, a static nested class is behaviorally with respect to basically the structure of the particular static nested class, a top level class that has been nested in another top level class for packaging convenience. Say for example, in this particular example, in order to create an object of the static nested class, I have to write here say out.in, that is from the outside world. So it cannot exist alone, that I have told it with respect to non-static nested class, that is the speciality of nested class. So I need to mention the outer class dot in, that is the inner class. Now in order to create an object of the static nested class, I have to write here new out.in. Remember, in the previous example I have written here new outer dot new inner, but here this is basically, I mean to say, this particular object is basically a direct member of its, I mean to say, a direct member of its outer class. So that means in that way it can be it can be accessed directly. So no need to write here new out, then comes the say parenthesis for creating object. You have to just write here new out.in. Basically it is a static member. I mean to say in, that is in, is basically a static member of the top level outer class out, so it can be accessed directly. So that means the object of this particular class is basically a direct member of the outer level class. So in that way the static nested class can be created, and after creating the object you can access it. That is the idea. So just trying to run the program here. So it is showing that from the show method it is printing the value of x, that is 25, that is a static member, and for the next value, that is the non-static field of the outer class, it is showing its value, that is basically 50, and it can be accessed by using the object of the outer class. So that is the idea that I have tried to implement here. So remember the difference here, it is basically the static nested class is basically a direct member of the class itself, not the member of its object. So that is why I will be writing here new out.in, then comes the parenthesis. That is the object creation part. Now I will be giving you examples for two different variations of the inner classes, that means non-static nested classes. In the first example I have given you the example of member inner class. That means this particular inner class is basically, or non-static nested class is defined at the same level as that of its other members, be it a particular kind of field or be it a method. But here it is a different kind of non-static nested class which will be defined inside a method. So instead of defining it directly within the outer level class, I have defined it inside a method. So that is why it is also called local inner class. That means by using this concept we can declare an inner class within the body of a method, and it is called basically local inner class. It is a variation of the inner class, that means non-static nested class, which is defined at the method level, and it's a special category of inner class. So just have a look at this example. It demonstrates the use of local inner class. I have placed the local inner class named second. So it is basically the local inner class which is placed under a loop inside the method test, which is basically an instance method of the top level class fast. So just I would like to repeat it once more. Class fast is the top level class within which I am having a private instance field of type int. Now we are having an instance method test. Within this method I have got a loop. Now within the loop I have defined the local inner class. So now within the local inner class named second, I have defined a method that is basically an instance method. It will be trying to print the value, like I would like to show you the value of x here by mentioning its name. Since it's an inner class, it will be able to access the member of its outer class. That is the basic concept that I have tried to apply here. Now I will be creating an so after defining this particular class named second, I will be trying to create an object of the class named second. Just have a look at here. So by using this object I can call this method named show. So that is the most typical example of calling an instance method. So I have created an object of the class named second, and from this particular method named test I have tried to access the method show, which is basically a member of the class named second. So now I will be creating an object of the class fast, that is the top level class. Now by creating an object of the class fast, I can call the method test, within which I have placed a loop. Now the class second as well as the code that will be creating an object and calling this method is part of the same loop. So it will be just repeating its function, like this particular statement will be repeated for 5 times because that is the construct of the loop. So in that way this particular statement will be get printed. Now I would like to give you an example of interesting thing, that is, say for example, if I go to the code, that is NetBeans projects, and it is named basically nested class example. So it is basically the code structure. So now I will be giving you the position or the different kinds of names of the classes. It is very interesting thing to consider. Say for example, the name of the first code was nested01. Okay, so now for this particular code I have got 3 classes: outer, inner and nested01. Now you can see it here, nested01 dot class is present, that is the outer level class, that is the main class here according to the name of the program. Just forget about this file, it is basically a configuration file. Just have a look at the dot class file only. Now it is the nested01 dot class, it is for the main class within which the main method is defined. Now I have to look for outer and inner class. So just have a look at here. So this is the outer class. So it is the top level class. Now where is your inner class? I mean to say, where is the non-static nested class named inner? So you can find it here, outer $inner dot class. So that means I have already told it, like the inner class cannot exist alone. It can be identified by the existence of its outer class only. So that is why the compiler, I mean to say the Java compiler, will be creating it like outer dollar inner. So that is the idea. So outer dollar inner. So in that way it will be created. So that is about the first program. Now I am to consider about the second program. So it is named out, in and nested 02. Just have a look at here. So out. So it is out dot class. It is a top level class. So there is no problem. So here comes nested 02 dot class. Now I will be looking for out. Like I mean to say, I am now looking for in as the part of outer out class. So just have a look at it. So it is there like out dollar in, like outer dollar inner, like the previous class. It is basically being created. Remember it. So out dollar in. So that is the class which is representing the static nested class. Now for the third example, so first is the top level class. It is the first, that is the top level class. Then comes nested 03, that is another top level class. So here comes the nested 03. Now where is second? So it is basically second. First $1 second. So in that way the local inner class can be identified. So now I will be considering the last example, and at the same time I will be giving you the names of the respective inner classes. So now I will be talking about anonymous inner class. It is a variant of the inner class. So here it is defined inside a method like the local inner class, but it doesn't have any name. That is the specialty of anonymous inner class. That means we can also declare an inner class within the body of a method without naming it, and this kind of class is known as anonymous inner class. So just have a look at here. It is a little bit complicated example, so just concentrate on whatever I am saying and whatever I am demonstrating here. You will be able to understand what's going on and what is the basic concept. Say for example, I have got a class named parent. So it is basically having an empty method. I mean to say it is having a method named void show, and I have not written anything inside the body of the method. So now I will be creating another class named another, which is basically a top level class. Now within the class construct of class named another, I have tried to create a method which is basically an instance method of the class named another, which will be basically returning an object of the parent class. So parent get, remember it. Now how can you create an object? By using return new parent. So it is basically a way to create the constructor of this particular class. Now within the structure of this particular implicit call to the constructor, I have provided here a pair of braces, clear, and within which I have defined the show method. So here I have written show method overridden. So basically parent is a class which is having a show method, which is basically an empty method. That means we have not written anything inside the body of the method. Now I have created another class named another, which is having an instance method named get, which will be returning an object of the class parent. So that will be done by using this particular statement. So new parent, that is basically the idea of creating an object by calling the constructor implicitly, but within the say construct of the constructor I have defined a pair of braces, and within which I have tried to redefine the method show. It is basically a classical example of method overriding, though I have not used the keyword extends. So basically here, this particular method show, which was defined inside parent class, has been overridden within the parent class. So basically parent class constructor, and we are basically creating an object of this particular class. So within the structure of the say constructor, I mean to say, by using implicit call we are going to create an object. Now I have provided a pair of braces, and within which I have tried to redefine the method show. It is basically a classical example of method overriding. So if I am writing here another n new another, basically it will be creating an object. I have to create this object because without creating this object I won't be able to create this method, because it is an instance method. So I have created an object. Now by using this particular object of the another class, I have access to this particular method, which is basically an instance method. Now it will be returning an object which can be pointed by the reference of the parent class. So in that way it will be having a basically object of its child class, though I have not used the extends keyword here explicitly. So that is the speciality or beauty of this code. Like parent p equal to n dot get, though I have not used here any extends keyword, it will be creating an object of its subclass. And remember the thing here, it is basically, I mean to say, whenever I will be using this particular construct like new parent for creating an object of the parent class, and within its construct I have provided the method show to be redefined, you can have a thing like that. It is basically having a class like structure, and because a class can have fields or methods, so show is basically a method, so you can think that it is basically a kind of class, though the class is not having any name. So that is why I can say it basically it's an anonymous inner class. That means a kind of nested class which is defined locally within a method that is having any name. That means that doesn't have any name. So in that sense it is an anonymous inner class, and which happens to be a subclass of the class named parent. So that is why I am creating here an object of its subclass, that is basically the anonymous inner class. So now the parent class reference p will be pointing towards the object, which is basically an anonymous inner class. Now by using this object I can have access to its instance method, that is show method, which has been redefined here. So just trying to run the program, so it will be giving you the output. So show method overridden, that means this particular method has been called here. So that is the logic of this program. So I hope that you have understood the concept of nested classes. It is basically of two different categories, I mean to say two main categories, non-static and static. The main non-static nested class is called basically, which is also called inner class. Member inner class is the basic thing to consider. Now we are having two variations of the inner classes, like the local inner class, this example, and the anonymous inner class. Here we are defining this particular second level class within a method but without providing any name. Now just have a look at the structure here. So the class name is parent, so it is a top level class, so that is why we will be getting here parent dot class. Then comes another, it is already there, clear. Then comes say anonymous inner class. So how can you recognize anonymous inner class? Here it is not having any name, so it can be recognized by using another $1 dot class. So that is the specialty. So in that way the anonymous inner class can be recognized. So I hope that you have also understood how to identify or recognize the dot class files for different programs related to nested classes, be it member inner class, be it static nested class, be it local inner class, or be it anonymous inner class. So I hope that you have thoroughly watched this video, and if you like this video then please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is the URL of my YouTube channel, and please visit my website that is techguruSpeaks.com, and this is the official email ID. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.